Here's how to recession-proof your finances. Why do some people lose everything in a recession while others come out more rich? We saw this happen in all past recessions. During COVID, the 2008 Great Recession, the dot-com boom. This was when millions of people lost everything, but yet there was a small group of people who not only survived, but thrived. So what's the secret? It wasn't luck. It was pure strategy and long-term thinking, because they knew how to recession-proof their finances before a financial storm came knocking on their doors. Today, that's going to change, as I'll show you exactly how you can do that too with clear, actionable steps that anyone can do. While we don't have any control over what happens in our economy, we do control how to prepare for when trouble hits. So if you're ready to recession-proof your finances, let's get into it. Why recession-proofing matters? What people often get wrong is economic downturns aren't a one-time thing, nor are they rare. They're a part of the economic cycle, which means they help the economy grow in the long term. Historically speaking, recessions happen every 6 years on average, which means a person experiences 10 to 12 recessions in their lifetime on average. One thing about recessions is that they always leave millions of people stressed out despite recessions varying in size and scale. This isn't a surprise at all, considering most Americans can't even afford a $1,000 emergency expense. That's only one emergency away from a financial disaster. What's even worse is that there's a separate study showing that 6 out of every 10 people say they cannot handle an unexpected $500 emergency expense. And that's why managing your finances in such a way that recession-proofing isn't about predicting the next crisis. It's about preparing for it. Because it's a matter of when, not if it's coming. And I personally believe it might come sooner than you think. And the best part is, you don't even need to be an economist, accountant, or have a finance degree to do it. You just need to follow these 3 steps. Step number 1, emergency funds and cash management. Let's begin with the foundation. Your emergency funds. Think of this as your personal safety net. In any unforeseen circumstances like losing your job or facing a medical emergency, this fund is what's keeping you straight from falling into a debt spiral. So, how big should it be? Well, most experts recommend that it should be anywhere from 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses. That means if your monthly cost of living, like rent, food, utilities, transportation, everything is, say, $2,000. In that case, your target fund should be anywhere from $6,000 to $12,000. If your income stops coming in for any unexpected reason, then this buffer will be your lifeline. Now, this is equally as important. Where should you be keeping that money? You should be keeping that money in a liquid, low risk, and a safe place. Here are some places that you should be parking your emergency funds. A high yield savings account, money market fund, CDs, and a bonus one is lending my money on Nook. The first 2 options, the high yield savings account and money market funds, are 100% safe, fully liquid, meaning you could withdraw it at any time with no risk. While CDs are risk-free, they're not as liquid. They typically have lockup periods from anywhere from a few weeks to all the way to a few years, whichever one you select up front. Most CDs will have a penalty if you try to withdraw it before it fully matures. However, there's a small number of them that do offer penalty-free early withdrawals, so just be mindful of that. And lastly, the one that I've been really obsessed with lately is lending my money on Nook to get an average of 7.6%, which is much higher than any high yield savings accounts out there. While it's not totally risk-free, I do believe it is relatively low risk because the way that it works is over-collateralized lending. Meaning, for example, if I borrow $100 from you, I'll actually also have to put up collateral, meaning you hold on to my watch that's worth $150, just in case if I don't repay the loan. And if I don't repay the loan, you sell the watch to recoup your funds. And that's how over-collateralized lending works. Nook does just that. It's fully liquid, meaning I could withdraw it at any time. And what's cool is that you can get paid every 16 seconds. So if you're crazy, you could just keep watching your interest earn in real time. It'll be fractions of a penny, but still kind of cool in my opinion. I do have a referral link in the description, so if you do sign up using my code, you'll get an additional 1% boost. So that 7.6% turns into 8.6%. Now, you do need to sign up and enter in the code manually in order to get that boost, otherwise you won't get it. Now let's talk about how you'll build up your emergency funds. I know it may sound difficult to achieve, and that's all right. I want you to start small. First, aim for your first $1,000. Once you hit that, move to your next targets that's slightly higher, maybe $1,500 or $2,000. According to a report by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and a related analysis by Vanguard, even an emergency fund of $2,000 can drastically increase your financial well-being. It even has a more positive impact than having a 3 to 6 month of emergency funds. Kind of crazy, right? What this means is that even a small cushion matters. And the best way that you could build it through, it's called automation. You need to set up automatic transfers every single paycheck, even if it's 5 or 10% of your income. Believe me, you won't miss what you never see. Remember, emergency funds aren't built overnight, but they are built consistently. Every deposit, no matter how small, ultimately strengthens your financial defense in the face of a recession. Step number 2. Diversify your income streams. Now let's move on to the second pillar of financial protection, diversifying your income. I'm sorry to say this, but if your income comes from just one job or one client or even one source, you're just one step away from poverty. Because if that one stream stops, everything else comes to a halt. We not only saw this in 2008, but also recently saw this in 2020 pandemic, where millions of people realized this the hard way. But the ones who prepared, who had multiple streams of income, had flexibility. They could easily pivot, they could easily adjust, which helped them stay afloat. So how can you build this flexibility? Let's break it down. Number 1, active side hustles. Your active side hustle can be anything like freelance work, consulting, tutoring, design, writing, dog walking, DoorDash delivery, or any gig work. I've personally done almost all of these as a side hustle at one point. And the goal is to not overwork yourself, but to create a second flow of income that can grow over time. Number 2, semi-passive income. This could be digital products, selling online courses, ebooks, YouTube content, or affiliate marketing. While these also require upfront work, they do generate returns over the long run. Number 3, investment income. Earning a dividend income from stocks, interest from bonds, or even real estate income. While these not only take time, but they also require capital. They do give long-term stability though. I own 3 rental properties that pay me rent because I have long-term tenants. It took a really long time to build that up, but once I had that in place, it really helped me diversify my income. So here's what really matters. You don't need to chase everything. You only need to pick one that fits your skills and available time. For instance, if you're already a designer, start by offering templates on a marketplace. If you're good at communication, try consulting or social media marketing or coaching or something like that. If you love tech and you're good at programming, make an online course about that. You don't need to have 10 income streams. You just only need to have 1 or 2 or 3 at the most. Because diversification isn't about doing more, it's about reducing dependency on one source of income. Now, if you're finding this useful so far, then drop a like and hit that subscribe button. It helps others find this video, and if you have any other questions, drop them in the comments down below. I answer all of them. Now, back to the video. Step number 3. Smart debt management and expense prioritization. Here's the third pillar of financial security, controlling your debt and expenses. Because it doesn't matter how much you earn if your expenses rise equally just as fast, then you're in bad luck. Good financial habits are extremely important as they go a long way. Let's start with debt. Now, not all debt is bad. Some debts, like mortgages on a rental property, can be considered as good debt because they help you build assets or increase your earning potential. But high interest debts, like credit cards, can crush you in a recession. So your first goal is to classify your debts between good and bad debt. I want you to write down every single loan that you have along with the interest rates next to it and your balance. Then use one of these 2 strategies. The avalanche method. Pay off the highest interest rate first because it's mathematically more efficient. Snowball method. Pay off the smallest balance first because it's emotionally satisfying and helps you build up that momentum. The avalanche method is a more logical approach, which I would recommend, but if you do need that motivation and those small wins to keep you going, then go with the snowball method. However, I still strongly prefer the avalanche method more. Next up, expenses. During a boom, we often build comfortable lifestyles that are supported by little luxuries like food deliveries, streaming, and impulse purchases. But no matter what, the smartest move is to always be lean. This doesn't mean that you should be cutting out all the joys from your life. What this means is that you should prioritize survival over comfort. And here's how to do it. First, list down all of your expenses and mark each one as essential or optional. For the essential expenses, truly ask yourself if you could go without it. Do you really need to be door dashing food every few days? Or do you really need that premium plan of Netflix? Can you just get by with just the standard plan? Always negotiate your bills. Call into your cell phone carrier and ask them what discounts can they offer you. There's a good chance that they'll lower your bill. You just need to ask. Unfortunately, most people never do this. They just wait until they're forced to. But doing this before you're forced to is what separates people from being proactive versus reactive. But if you plan this early, you'll know exactly what and where to cut without panicking. Here's the classic rule of thumb that you could follow called the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to your needs like your rent, groceries, and utilities. 30% of your income goes to your wants. 20% of your income goes towards your savings and investments. But we're gonna do better than that because we're switching it up. We're gonna do 50% your needs, 30% your savings and investments, and 20% on your wants. If you switch up that rule, you'll be in a much better spot. Common myths about recession proofing. Before I end this video, let me address a few myths that people often believe. Myth number one, I don't have enough to save. The reality is that saving is all about habits. Even saving $10 per week helps you build up that habit. And then over time, the habit matters a lot more than the amount. Myth number two, diversifying income means starting a business. And that's not true. Diversifying your income just means that you have another source of income to earn money. It could be done through freelancing, part-time teaching, or digital sales. It doesn't have to be a huge commitment where you're buying massive amounts of equipment or anything upfront. Myth number three, cash is useless and I should be investing everything. Cash is security. While I do agree that having too much cash is a huge mistake, having liquid cash buys you something extremely valuable, peace of mind. Myth number four, budgeting is restrictive. Budgeting gives you freedom. It tells you where your money is best spent instead of wondering where it all goes. Conclusion, recession proofing is about protecting yourself during times of crisis. It's also about building a life where your financial security doesn't depend on who's in the government, what inflation does, or how the stock market is moving. So tell me in the comments down below, which pillar are you going to be focusing on first? Emergency funds, income diversification, or debt management? And remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday, and the second best time is today. Stay smart, stay calm, and stay recession proof. And if you want to recession proof your portfolio, then watch this video over here and don't forget to like and subscribe.